2018. The Final Four is set. We got the NIT, CBI, CIT coming up this week as basketball makes its final push. Next Monday, Donnie, this time will be the final day of college basketball. It's all coming to an end. It's amazing how quick it goes. I hope you had a great weekend, all of you out there. I'm the big man on campus. He's Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing good today. Finished up yesterday with a nice winner. Got the little added bonus of a ball rolling around the rim and coming out, forcing overtime, Jeff, in Duke, Kansas, helping me out on the over 156.5. Great week again. I know you killed it this week. I won some money as well. And again, it is sliding down towards the rest of the season. Not a lot to look forward to. We still have some good NIT matchups, some good lower level tournaments, and you have that nice week to build up for a really good setting up Final Four, Jeff.
Yeah. Final push as we make our final picks here this season. It's gonna suck that it's over, but hey, one door closes, another one opens. We'll finish it up here this week on SBR picks at SBRforum.com. Welcome in to everyone out there listening as always. Hopefully you enjoy the show. We're talking about all sorts of good stuff today. We got the morning headlines, we got some hoops. We'll talk a little baseball. Baseball gets going on Thursday. So like I said, one door closes, another one opens. Baseball gets going. That'll be fun. I'll give out a couple futures for the American League that I like. And Donnie, we will get into that and more. So hit the like button. Make sure you take care of business. We only ask you to do one or two things: hit the like button and share the show. If you're out there on Twitter, hit the retweet button. Get it out to people. It's a great way to grow the show and to grow for people that want to see the show, see what we have at SBR. That's a great way for them to be exposed to the show today. Donnie, how was your weekend? What'd you do? Anything?
Yeah, it was good. Had little family functions, little get-togethers there, but it's nice because you didn't have too much college basketball. You had some good games to watch and check in on. So I had a good weekend. How about yourself? What'd you do up there in Lancaster County?
What did I do? I can't say I did that much, honestly, because I'm going to San Antonio next week or this week, so I'm kind of just hanging out. I don't think I did anything really. Just watch
What day you
basketball,
leaving?
really.
What
I
day you
leave
leaving?
Friday afternoon, Friday like around 5. I leave. So I'll be on all week, and then Saturday morning as well. Uh, James Ross, Adam, Armin, Don, Dale, Troy, Michael, Guan, Jeff, Trevor Holt, Daniel. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Michael, welcome in. Hope you enjoy the show. Hit the like button for us. Let's get into Donnie, the morning headlines here, as we do every morning on the right side of campus. Trust the playoffs. Yes, the Sixers are in the playoffs, Donnie. How about that? For the first time in, I don't know, 6 years or so, probably more than that, the Sixers are in the playoffs. I never thought this day would come. Obviously, being a fan of the Sixers, I never thought the tank would end. But I got to tell you, man, this team has played very well this year. It's been a nice difference. I mean, obviously, people are going to the games now. We're not losing 70 games a season. This team could very well win 50 games by the end. And look, you're kind of right there in that 4 seed ish. 4 seed. You'd probably play Indiana, I guess, in the first round. Donnie, what are your thoughts on the Sixers? I mean, obviously, you know, Ben Simmons should be the rookie of the year. I mean, the way he is just throwing out triple doubles. Joel Embiid has become a total star. They've done all this without their first round pick doing absolutely anything.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and they're a fun team to watch. They added some glue guys like, the Bellinellis of the world, Ilyasovas of the world to come off the bench and sort of give you that extra firepower and punch and some playoff credibility when you have some veterans. It'd be nice to see them get in the playoffs, which they are, maybe win a round and maybe challenge round two, and who knows where they can take it. Do I think they're going to be able to beat Toronto in the playoffs? No. Do I think they can beat Cleveland in the playoffs? I don't, because Cleveland's going to get 6 days of rest between playoff games. We all know how long and dragged out the NBA playoffs are, which really gives an advantage to the older clubs because you're not playing back-to-back nights or, every other night in that instance. But it will be fun for the Sixers there, and they have a bright future ahead of them. Even if they did whiff on Markelle Fultz, hopefully you can pick up somebody in free agency next year, because the Sixers are now a destination team to come play for.
Yeah, 6 in a row they've won. They're 42-30. That's amazing to me, especially with where they were. I mean, remember that one year they were like 10-72. They were just horrible, man. It was a mess. But it's nice to see the Sixers finally in the playoffs. Man, look, you know, they're you kind of thought, okay, we'll get to the playoffs, maybe win a game, and that was kind of your goal. But I mean, you're in the 4 seed, man. I mean, I thought maybe a 7 or 8 seed, but they've certainly defied expectations. And like you said, they're only going to get better as they, kind of a destination to go to, and that kind of thing. Um, let's keep it moving here, Donnie. The question is yesterday, better TV. Now, I don't know if this is a good question just because, it was after the fact. So we were able to watch it and then watch this. But let me ask you a question. Duke, Duke, Kansas is obviously a good game, but what would you have rather watched, Duke, Kansas, or the Stormy Daniels interview?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty funny how where all this stuff goes in drama. And they did, and again, you always want to have a good lead in, right, Jeff? The show before your show, you want to have a lot of people listening, so the carryover effect will bring it into the next show. How many people in the country with not much going on, Jeff, on a Sunday were glued into an overtime game between Blue Bloods, Duke and Kansas, and just left the TV on? And oh, by the way, 60 Minutes is coming up next. Porn star talking about the president and what they did, a decade ago, or whatever it was. What a great lead in for them, because they can say, look at this, man, this really sells, when probably what, Jeff, 3/4 of that audience just had the TV on that channel still, and it ran into Stormy Daniels.
Right, right. Keep in mind they also teased it about 80 times during the game. So not only did they that was it on next, but it was on for literally every time they went to off a commercial. Don't forget 60 Minutes tonight. Stormy Daniels tells her story. Um, as far as quickly the whole thing with her, I listen. I mean, do you believe her? That's the question. I mean, I'm not sure what you would gain here by making. I guess telling this story is kind of embarrassing, frankly. I mean, the story was kind of interesting, though. I mean, the whole like smacking him with a magazine is kind of interesting. What were your thoughts when you heard that, Donnie? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about sex outside the presidency 10 years ago. Hey, maybe that's the wave of the future, Jeff. Every time you get elected into office, maybe the girls of your past come out of the woodwork and talk how you were in bed, what you guys did, where you hung out, what you ate, and all that stuff. Because hey, when you watch Billions, Jeff, as we all do, there's a very seedy underworld, which people, when you close the bedroom door, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what the gaining of the story is. It's a story if it says like, he choked me and raped me and now I'm coming clean. But the whole like, well, I met him and I really didn't want to do anything, but I'm a porn star. Followed him up to his room. Ah, yeah, what the hell? I'll sleep with him. It's no big deal. And then he gets to be the president, and a decade later, you're talking about, I don't know. I don't really know what there is to gain or whatever, but it's news. So
well, I mean, keep in mind, I mean, he was married with a young child at home, and he committed adultery against his wife. That would probably be a good thing to remember as well. But Donnie, I want to make this clear. You talked about Billions. I got to tell you, I'm out on Billions. I'm done with it. I don't.
what?
I'm sick. I don't think it's end. I thought last night's show was brutal.
You're
It's just not that
kidding me.
interesting. I'm serious. I'm not. I'm out on Billions. I am. I'm out. I there's too much going on. I mean, there's like 80 different storylines in one show. It's way too. There's way too much going on, and I got to tell you, I had times was watching it, and I'm like, when will this be over? Is this over yet? I
That's
got to tell you, I'm
terrible.
very close to being out. No, it isn't. It's boring. I'm getting bored with it. But I don't know. We'll give it another shot, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's only the first episode of the third season, but yeah, I don't know. The only thing good about it is Wendy Rhodes. Frankly, I'm only really into her at this point. Um, it's true. I mean, you could try to sell it as this great show, but
It's
I'm not
unbelievable.
seeing it. It's not unbelievable. It's not that good. I don't think it is.
Oh
I'm starting
boy.
to I'm starting to fall out of love with it, frankly. Well, I was never really in love with it. Uh, because some of the storylines that were interesting are now ending. Like, um, you know, Axe never goes to jail. I think we're going to be clear with that. The whole story with his son, that was or his father was kind of interesting, but that's almost kind of fizzling out at this point because they're
Fizzling
already.
out. It just hit like the atom bomb last night. It's just getting started.
What's getting started about it? The father knows about it. He hates the kid now,
They
and
were
that's
trying to
that.
bridge the gap. He's running for governor. It's always his long time thing. Now the father's out. You know he's going to undermine his son now. This is only getting started, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not into it. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. And it's probably a good time because next week I won't watch it anyway. I'll just let it fly off into the sunset, and we'll let you guys continue it. So I urge you, keep watching it if you like it. I'm sure you will. Donnie, it's your show. It's not for me anymore. Sorry, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Last story tonight. Very good storylines, by the way, in the morning headlines today. Um, Michael Bennett. We didn't talk about this story. Now, you and I normally disagree on these kind of situations and these news stories, but I will say this again: we have no idea what went on here, but what we can say is, from the evidence or the lack of evidence given here with the story itself, it seems pretty fake, doesn't it, Donnie? To me, at least. Now, again, if this was Michael Bennett and he played on the, Kansas City Chiefs, or if it was Michael Bennett on the Philadelphia Eagles, it would not matter to me. If anyone knows, I'm fairly objective with these news stories. I don't think Michael Bennett did what he said here. There's no proof of it if it happened. If the cop saw it, why didn't he do anything about it? You wait a year, over a year, to present your case, and then your excuse as to why you didn't present it was, "Oh, we had a heavy workload." I mean, what do you only have? 20 cops on the force? They can't. Someone else, in you know major crimes can't handle this, or if it was that big a deal. I don't think it happened. I don't think any of the presented evidence makes any sense. What are your thoughts here on this, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, since he plays for the Eagles, I'm always going to, back it up because now he's your guy. But if he played for the Seattle Seahawks, I would laugh and tell him to give him like an 8-game ban. But when you really break it down, he did it. But what did he
I don't.
actually do?
What do you mean?
You know
You
what I
know he
mean?
did. What do you
Like,
mean?
what did he
You think
actually do? Like, he
maybe
comes
he?
down to the field. He's a blowhard type guy already. And, I'm a big man. I'm an NFL player. I make $60 million a year. I won a Super Bowl. You know who the F I am. Let me on this field. When these little rinky dink security guards have no idea, it's just a big black guy standing here in front of me saying he wants to get on the field. Hey, Jim, can you come over here and check this out? Now he's getting mad because the confetti's on the field. He wants to go celebrate with his brother. They're not letting him on the field because he's big, bad Michael Bennett. Now he goes through, the line of security and probably pushes his way through. Is he like, Hulk Hoganing people, like clotheslining them? Probably not. But, the 66-year-old or 70-year-old, whatever, paraplegic, he probably pushes out of the way a little bit and goes through. And you're right. It's grandstanding because he is a famous athlete. Do I think he did it? Yes. But what did he actually do, though? Do I think he pushed through? Yeah. Do I think anybody got seriously hurt? No. Do I think it was that big of a deal at the end of it? No. Why did it take 14, 15 months to come out, which is ridiculous? Pay the fine, move on. And do you need a press conference for this? Like, you held a
Dude,
press conference a year later.
yeah, they literally acted like they found like the cartel leader, and they brought him in, and he was
Yeah.
he was waiting to be extradited to the United States, and you had finished off a long standing investigation. Listen, I don't think he did any of this. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to ask this again. Without channel locks or any sort of bolt cut or anything, how do you open a locked door? How do you get through a locked door if it's locked? I mean, sometimes you doesn't matter how strong you are. Sometimes you just can't get through a locked door. And I'm going to ahead and guess that even if he did get through the locked door, there'd have been some sort of camera to pick this up. All this, the Chiefs talking about how secure this place is, and it's the biggest event in the world. Yet you have no cameras to produce any sort of credibility to anything
Yeah.
you're saying. I don't get it. I don't see it. This is, I think, they have an issue with Michael Bennett. They want to try to get Michael Bennett here, and this is a trivial thing that they said he did. Look, if he did it, I'll obviously we'll say it. But you know, how are you going to prove this? Is there any proof of all that? I mean, this is a weak case to me. Michael Bennett will supposedly turn himself in today. I do have to ask, and I'm just asking because I don't know anything about this, but if you're working that security, so that is deeming security, right? You're not letting people on the field or letting people on the field. Isn't it a bit of a security concern though that now with all the things going on in the world? I'm not downplaying a paraplegic woman, but is it really safe to have her being the security? I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it or anything, but I mean, do you hear what I'm saying, Donnie? If someone has a gun on the field, shouldn't there be quote unquote little bit more of a security handling team that could handle stuff like that if it's that important?
Yeah, yeah, like I see it both ways because there are laws out there, you know what I mean? Which I come from a little bit older time where I try to see things more through a non-PC world. You're right about that because nowadays, Jeff, as long as you put an application, you might not even be qualified for the job, but you might be, well, we have to have a certain amount of girls in this job here. We have to have a certain amount of handicapped people in this job here because you can't go against that. But there's no way, shape, or form. Like a 66-year-old paraplegic, Jeff, you know what she should be probably doing at the will call window, handing out tickets to people who
That's what
show
I'm
them your
saying.
ID and you hand it over.
Donnie, real
Exactly,
quick.
but that's what they do. That's today's PC world. Hey,
But
well,
here's
maybe if
my
she was a
thing.
quadriplegic, they probably would have still had her as a security guard.
Okay, I liken this to like, okay, it is a fairly big event which we know of. So let's kind of liken it to any sort of club you go to. When you go to a club, there are big bouncers that can handle a crowd, right? If it's so concerning as to who gets on the field and who doesn't, I'm not saying that this is anything to do. I'm just making the point of maybe it's a little unsafe, frankly. I mean, anyone can get on the field if they really wanted to, which is what basically has been made clear here. My whole thing is, if you were a cop that saw this, why didn't you do anything at the time? I'm lost on that thing because that sounds like a cop that just looked the other way and said, "Oh, not my problem today. But down the road, if it benefits me, I'll come out and talk about it." Why didn't you do anything about it? Why didn't you go over at the time and arrest that individual for what he did? I don't know.
No,
We'll
I,
see.
I, I agree.
But
Like there's a
I,
lot
I,
of fallacies in the story. I mean, I think it's over trumped and overhyped because it's Michael Bennett and whatever. But you're right. It just comes out of nowhere 14 months later. And again, when you have a lot of money, Jeff, which Michael Bennett does, he's going to get a good lawyer, and you already see the pieces come out. How badly was this lady hurt? She never went to the hospital or went to see a doctor, but a
yeah,
self-diagnosed sprained, separated shoulder. You
yeah,
know what's
right.
going to take place here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what's about to happen.
We could make and look. I'm just giving you facts here. At the end of the day, Michael Bennett is a victim. I mean, he's done nothing criminally wrong in anything, any case here. He's been said he did, but in Vegas, victim. It's never proven that he wasn't a victim. I mean, we can try and say we believe cops, but I mean, are the cops that credible? I mean, but they've made it clear that they're not exactly credible either. This case, he could very well just be a ploy to get to Michael Bennett. They don't like Michael Bennett. I mean, it's clear. He gets a bad rap. People don't. Michael Bennett gets a bad rap. People don't know what he does for kids and underprivileged people off the field. Him and his brother just won an award. You're right, and he gets some sort of um predator label because he was out in Vegas and supposedly he made up a story. Now that the only people telling you that were the cops. No one else made that claim, and there's no evidence that he's lying either. But this just seems a little shaky to me. And I think, Donnie, you see it. I think we all see it. Listen, if it comes out that Michael Bennett did this, you see him on camera shoving this woman out of the way, and knocking her on her ass.
Or even yeah, but even
Okay.
like, what's the
And
crime though? Like what you know what I mean? Like whether or not like
the,
Michael
the
Bennett is a person, he shoved his way onto the field.
yeah,
And what do we? And I get it. Jeff, if the lady was like I don't know, was in her wheelchair, right, and you saw him literally knock the wheelchair over, and she smacks her back and head against the wall, and did go to the hospital and had a separated shoulder, that's an indictment right there. But if you're telling me he just got aggressive and went through the line and got on the field, I mean, look, you want to have maybe a fine, maybe the NFL steps in and just say, hey, look, man, look, that's a company event, quote unquote. Like you would have a convention for a company and you acted a little bit out of line, that's 10 grand, pay a fine, we'll give it over to charity, don't do it again. Doesn't that seem sufficient?
yeah, but I think we're well aware that's not what's going on here. They want this to be
No,
a
I
big
know, I
story.
know. I'm just saying.
They want. Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly what should happen here. It should have been behind the closed doors. Okay, listen, this happened. But I guess in Texas, supposedly there's some felony law against elder abuse. Like
Yeah,
if you do something
65 or over. So if she was 61, we never would have heard about it or something like
right,
that. So
right. Good point. Good point. What was she? 66. So she was 64. This would not have been a crime. Now that she's 66, which not for nothing, senior citizens are like 75 and older to me. Is that safe to say, Donnie?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess you get maybe even you get a little bit upped in seniorability if you are a paraplegic at that point. The optics on the story are awful, but you try to break down to see exactly what happened. Throw a fine out there. Come on, Mike, stay in line. Don't do that again. Apologize and move forward with this fine or whatever. But it does seem like a lot to do about nothing when it all comes down to, my brother's out there. He's celebrating. Let me out. Because, again, it's not something, Jeff, that you can handle in 20 minutes. Why? Because the celebration is over. The game just ended. It's overtime. He wanted to get down there. I get it. Maybe if he waited an extra minute, they would have cleared up the situation. But, hey, football players are aggressive by nature, and he tried to get on the field and did the wrong thing.
This was my favorite. These are my favorite comments. So much for sports betting. Goodbye! Exclamation point. See you, Mark. Take it easy. Keep in mind, we're getting to that, but you want to jump out of your chair because we're talking about
Jeff,
Michael
North
Bennett,
Texas, hurry up, Jeff. Jeff, here. Wait, hold on. 741, 742. North Texas, San Francisco. Line is -3.5. I will not be wagering on this game. Jeff, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, settle the fuck down, will you? I mean, I guess we're not going to sleep tonight because Mark wants us to talk about sports betting. We're talking about Michael Bennett, Mark. I mean, it's a big story. Maybe you don't know that, but
incorporate into it, Jeff. I had the Patriots in that game. They scored in overtime to cover my line with the touchdown. I won. Sports betting 101. Bang! Now back to Michael Bennett.
Yeah, now Mark, we will get into spring training lines in a little bit, so stick around because I know that's what you want to bet. I'm sure you probably have a bet on all the games. You have every hockey game on the card capped already. Let's get into basketball because that's why people are here, Donnie. College hoops. Um, let's move into that. So take that down, Johan Santana, take that down. Donnie, we'll get into all four games. And what a four games it was. We'll start out with Loyola Kansas State. Is Loyola that good? And that's an interesting question by you because, yeah, I do think they are that good. And I think if you take the name off the front of the jersey, I think that's a really good basketball team. No matter, I would have a hard time identifying them and a Big 12 team, an SEC team, any team. I think they're really good. I think they deserve to be here. They've done everything in front of them. They've beaten Donnie, a Big 10 or an ACC team, an SEC team, and a Big 12 team to get here. I think it's safe to say they are that good. I heard Stephen A. Smith before we get on the air here saying that he doesn't want to see Loyola in the national championship game. Now, coming from a guy that absolutely knows nothing about college basketball, he actually said on the air this morning that Loyola trounced opponents to get here. That was his actual words, which, by the way, they didn't trounce anyone. The only trouncing they did was in the final game. But, I mean, you got to admit, this is what Loyola does it for.
Wait, he doesn't want to see him there. Why, though? What? He doesn't want to see him because he doesn't want him to win, or he doesn't like the way they play and doesn't want to see?
His comment was, I want to see two Goliaths against each other. David's ruin it at this level of the season. And how he can make any sort of sense of that because he didn't give any facts. And Max Kellerman basically gave the argument, well, they're here. So, I mean, they've done something right. I don't know. I guess you want to see Michigan and Villanova. I don't know. But to answer the question, yeah, Loyola is that good. I think they've done everything and proven everyone wrong that does doubt them. People don't sometimes at this level want to see the low-level seeds. They don't think maybe they belong. They maybe just got lucky. Loyola's not one of those teams. Loyola's a good basketball team that I think can hold their own in any of these conferences that they play in. What do you think, Donnie, on Loyola? Special team?
Yeah, no, they're that good. Now, do I think they benefited a little bit here, Jeff, from the first 3 games that they had, or first 4 games they had against teams that were good opponents for them? You don't have that 7'2" center that can dominate down low, but it's a credit to Loyola because every game they keep stepping up, Jeff. What are we saying? Like, well, now Kansas State, they have bigger and faster guards. There's no way Loyola can get to the rim. They get to the rim repeatedly. And when you want to talk about Cinderella teams, Jeff, this isn't like Steph 5 Steph Currys where they're coming across half court and shooting like a 50-foot 3 and getting lucky half the time that it goes in. They're running a complete offense, and the lower, Jeff, the shot clock gets down 5 seconds, 4 seconds, three. Everybody's wide open for a jump shot or a layup. It's unbelievable basketball. You don't start every second half and go damn near 10 for 10 in the first 7 to 8 minutes with easy looks if you're just getting lucky out there and throwing up threes at the buzzer. This is a really, really good basketball team. Now, I think they're going to run up a little bit against it with Michigan because Michigan presents some things that they haven't seen yet in the tournament. But don't fault them and just say, hey, man, boy, this is a really nice story. Nice story. Have you watched them play? They dominate basketball games.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you say that because I don't know that Michigan's going to give them anything they haven't seen before. I mean, especially with, I think a team like, let's be honest and make this very clear. Loyola has not seen anyone yet athletic or really up tempo or just better than they are. I don't know that any of the teams they faced are that much better than they are. I think they're on very similar levels, and I think at this point, they've made it clear that they're just as good as any of the teams they played. Michigan, if Michigan plays like they did on Saturday, they won't win. I mean, they can't win because that was some hideous basketball. I mean, they couldn't make anything. But I think they're very similar, Donnie, frankly. I mean, you look at Wagner and Krutwig, they're very similar. Krutwig's, though, more of a down post kind of player. He is a very good defender, though. If you watch him, Donnie, he is one of the guys that doesn't get any love on that team, but he was absolutely fantastic on defense for that team. And I'm interested to see how he'll handle Wagner. As far as the guards, I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty much pretty similar. Rockmont obviously really good. Custer very good. I think the fringe pieces. I mean, not for nothing. I like a lot of the fringe pieces on Loyola over Michigan. I think Duncan Robinson's a waste. Other than making threes, which if he's not doing, he's not a good defender. I think it's a pretty even matchup, frankly. But it's great, Don. We have all week to talk about it. It should be a great matchup, a fun matchup. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, Donnie, Sister Jean obviously is the big talk of the tournament, which we'll get into her a little bit more later. Now, Blackjack Fletcher, right? He says he's going to do whatever it takes to find where that team is staying, and he says he's going to do whatever it takes to meet Sister Jean. Would you advise that? I mean, that seems a little dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. You know what the funny thing is, Jeff? Any other person, like Sister Jean, Catholic faith, Jesuit faith, whatever, Christian faith, she seems like she would be accessible to everybody, just like a nun would be. Like, my door is always open. Like she would be the person I'd be like, you know what? The game's not till Saturday. We're going to come in Wednesday. Just put me in the hotel lobby. I'll say hello to as many people as I can. Whoever wants to come up and talk to me and even say a prayer, a rosary with me, or just say hello. I would love to do that, as opposed to the normal superstar who catches fame like, yo. I'm available from 2 to 3, and you're going to pay for my time. It just seems like she might just get wheeled around San Antonio, Jeff, to make sure she meets everybody.
Yeah, she's kind of like a politician in a way. Like she's just going around and saying hello to everyone. I get a weird feeling though. She won't get there like Friday, probably the same day we're getting there. And
and she's 98. Like, she's not like 52 where she can like run around the river walk and stuff like that. Like, give her some time to take some naps, people.
Yeah. Michigan runs the clock. Yeah, listen, this was among the weirdest things I've seen. Listen, especially in today's college basketball landscape, especially with the fact that Michigan is not a good free throw shooting team, it's clear Leonard Hamilton didn't do a ton of scouting his opponent because down 4 with 12 seconds left, he decides that we're giving up. It's over. It's the NBA. We're done. Because the NBA, they would have did this, but and then he gives a bizarre interview after the game, saying basically that the game was over. Basically we had no shot. And credit Dana Jacobson, who did a great job. Very good question, hard hitting. That's what you want to see out of interviews after the game, not what'd you do to win the game. How'd you do that? No, listen, you did something stupid, and why'd you do it? I don't know what was up with Leonard Hamilton. What was up with that interview after the game? I didn't get it. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
it caught everybody a little bit off guard. And then he doesn't he doesn't even correct it, Jeff, the next day when he comes out with his press release. He comes out and says, "Oh, the heat of the moment, it was hard. I should have handled and still doesn't answer anything. How hard would have been? Even as a head coach, Jeff, you're a politician. That's a good word that you used before. You're a politician. What did you think at the end of the game? Why didn't you foul? Well, I mean, the kid we're going to foul, Robinson, he's a really, really good free throw shooter. I was trying to get the attention of Angola, who was down there, but he had 3 or 4 fouls. I don't think he wanted to foul out. The time was slipping away. We should have fouled right there, but credit Michigan. They played a great game. Even if we fouled there, we probably weren't going to win the game, but we probably should have done that. End the story. Nobody would have gave a damn about it. But the fact that he was indignant, Jeff, that the question was asked, all anybody wanted to talk about across the country, gambler, non-gambler, it's 15 seconds. Why are you not fouling for a chance? How many times have we seen a missed free throw from Michigan, a ridiculous three-pointer? Now, having said that, Jeff, I was sitting on 3.5 and cheering the move not to foul with a 4-point win, because you know what's happening in that spot, Jeff? Let's say he goes down. Splash, splash. 6-point game. 8 seconds to go. You know what's coming behind there, Jeff. An uncontested 3-ball from like Savoy, who shoots like 45%. Thank God they didn't foul for me, but my God, if you got a 4.5 ticket, you were screaming.
Yeah, I again, it didn't make a ton of sense. I mean, I don't feel like there's any situation where you just play out the clock there. I don't, it looked like on the bench you were saying foul. Hamilton just stood there though stoically. Very odd. I mean, but whether it's Duncan Robinson or whatever, there's still a chance that maybe he'll miss.
Yes.
You foul at least one more time. If there's 5 seconds left, okay, maybe I understand. But 12, especially with how athletic they are getting up the court, yeah, I don't get it. Um, Nova dominates, Donnie. They really have dominated this tournament. I mean, none of the games, other than maybe West Virginia at times, were particularly tough for this team. And you saw yesterday that even not playing a good game, because yesterday was about as bad I've seen them play. They didn't shoot the ball well at all. Other than offensive rebounds, they did nothing well at all.
Foul trouble.
Brunson
Yep.
wasn't good. Yep, they were in foul trouble. Bridges didn't have a good game.
Chenzo
Even
from 3.
Chenzo at times struggled. I had to tell you right now, Colin Gillespie does not belong on the court at this level, in my opinion. He made multiple mistakes. I don't know. They didn't play well, but you know what? They still found a way to win and cover the game. Impressive stuff. Because from what I just told you, you would have said to me, well, Nova probably lost yesterday. No,
Yep.
they didn't. And that's kind of how good they are. They can have a bad game and not a good game in the Elite Eight and still find a way to get to the Final Four. Clearly the favorite at this point. Uh, it kind of sucks. And I'm not taking anything away from Michigan or Loyola, but I feel like it would have been, I would like to see Kansas on the other side and maybe
Yeah.
set up a final between those two. But I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy overall with the Final Four. But the Nova's, let me ask you, do you consider Nova's blue blood at this point? You have to, right?
No, yes, no, Nova is, which is crazy, Jeff, when you think about it. I mean, Villanova, if you walk on there, it's a beautiful campus, don't get me wrong. But when you talk Villanova or go to Villanova, Jeff, you don't get the feeling of a monster powerhouse type of basketball program or sports school. It's an academic and unbelievable academic institution, but they are now officially blue blood in the Final Four again. Jay Wright officially on the Pantheon, Hall of Fame head coach. You need to start talking now, Jeff, about like Coach K, and in that same realm, Tom Izzo, in that same realm, Jay Wright at this point. If he takes down another championship this year, which he's favored to do, and I think they do it, 2 national titles out of Jay Wright, he's up there, blue blood program for sure.
By the way, shout out to Ocean City, baby. Ocean City, New Jersey. Jay Wright got a house down there.
There you go.
So Donnie, we get a shout out to our
East
boy.
Coast.
Yes. But I will say I agree 100%. I think he is the guy now. I think he's top 3 coach of the country. Might just be the best. After this little stunt. But let me ask you, Donnie. With Villanova. And I'm not saying I'm doing this. I'm just asking you from a fan perspective. Is it a violation for a fan of my caliber of basketball to go down to the Final Four and root for Villanova because we're from Philly? Is that wrong? Because it is,
No, you're
right?
supposed to do that. No, you're supposed to root for
I
Villanova
don't
at this
think you
point. The whole Villanova
really.
faction against it, Jeff, is you don't root for Villanova when it's the regular season, so to speak. Like if they're playing Temple,
Right.
you're going to root for Temple, playing St.
Oh,
Joe's.
sure.
But when those teams are knocked out, you're okay to root for Villanova at that point because there's no conflict of interest. I always hated the fact, Jeff, even when like St. Joe's made that run about 10 years ago with Jameer Nelson, where the Villanova crowd was like, boy, I hope they never win it since we won it back in 85. I don't ever want to see them win a title. I mean, I didn't go to school in the city. My wife did, but I know how closely knit the city are. It's almost like those teams are versus Villanova. But once everybody's out, why would you root against them? They're not like the New York Giants or the Dallas Cowboys to us. It's Villanova. Why wouldn't you root for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna root for Loyola until they're out, but yeah, look, that's funny that Lloyd Mass said that Nova has the lamest fans. Yeah, they're pretty much Alabama fans. They like tie like their sweatshirts around their waists and like,
No, they're the
yeah, they're
opposite Alabama fans. Like Villanova's university should be placed on like Wall Street. That's the effect you get when you feel like you're talking because you're right.
Donnie,
It's a lot
honestly,
of
like,
things tied around. It's a lot of ties at the game. It's a lot of open collared shirts, holding the
yeah,
IPA, not so much the Budweiser can, right?
right. It's basically those guys that live in like Rittenhouse Square that went to Villanova because their
Yes.
father lived in Haverford and they went to the Haverford
Yep.
school and
Suit
you know,
jacket,
like,
but wearing it with tight jeans and like expensive like Gucci loafers or something like that.
yeah, their last name is like Von Holden, and like they were like esteemed. Their father was like the district attorney, and they were like, they did it. Now keep in
The
mind when you went to
Vanderbilt.
school, they like sold weed, and like they were all like all the rest of us, but according to their father's bank account, they were like bigger and better than everybody else. But no, when I say Alabama, like to me, the people that root for Alabama, most of them are like the guys with like the haircuts and like they have like the plaid shirts on, and they're like, you know, maybe that's Ole
Country boy.
Miss, maybe I'm thinking, yeah, but they're like the Southern gentleman type. You know what I'm saying?
No,
But
Alabama's the guy in the muddy truck with the cutoff jeans and
okay.
ripping around in mud bogs all day. That's an Alabama
I,
fan base.
I
Villanova's
guess
the
I'm thinking
opposite
about
of
like
that.
different types. But Donnie, real quick, we have a few minutes here. I want to tell a quick story. This is what Villanova fans are. I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. So, Donnie, we went to the Big East tournament a couple weeks ago. Remember? So I'm on the train. I'm on the Amtrak. We're going north. We're almost to like Trenton. Now I'm sitting next to a group of chicks. They were like in their late 30s, mid 30s. They were all going to New York. There were four sisters. They were all going to meet a sister of theirs in New York that was having their birthday, like 18th birthday or something. She was like the youngest. And they were taking her 21st birthday. They were taking her out or something. So we're all sitting there, and they started chatting with me about Villanova because they had Villanova stuff on, and we just started chatting, and they were cool, super nice. Now this guy out of nowhere comes walking by to go to the bathroom. Now he looked like he was from Haverford his whole life, but he lived in Philly. Now he had like the kind of a slick back hair, not like mine, slick back hair. Had like the suit on with the pop jacket. He was just one of those like frat guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's walking to the bathroom and he recognizes one of the girls that's there. And he goes, "Oh, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah." And he starts talking to her. "I live in Hoboken now. I'm a lawyer. I had to come back to Philly for like a case." He was a total douchebag, like one of the quintessential Villanova people. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I went to Villanova. And he like knew this chick and he was like going to the bathroom. He said hello to her. So he leaves, says hello to her. He comes back another time, says hello to her again, and like calls her like hun, like hey hun, like those kind of guys. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, 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 I do.
Okay, so now he comes across as this like lawyer douchebag. Now I knew at some point he'd make it clear what kind of douchebag he really was. So he comes up like literally two or three times throughout the train ride, and at the end of the train, we're about 20 minutes from New York. He sees like water bottles, like they were still in the packaging. I guess he was thirsty, so he goes, "Oh, water bottles." He goes, "What's up with this?" He goes, "Are these free?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I don't think they are. I think they're for like the crew." He's like, and he goes, "Hey, you want a water?" He like takes some. He goes, "Here." I'm like, "Well, dude, they're not ours. They're the trains." He goes, it's cool." He goes, "I'm a lawyer." I'm just like, "All right,
He would have got
whatever."
you out of it, Jeff. He would have got you out of any liability for drinking the water.
But those are That's what Villanova fans are. They're like those seedy, like lawyer shitheads that like they'll act like all high and mighty, but when it comes down to it, they're just like everybody else, really. They're not any better than us. They're not, and that's what Villanova. Why they're so shitty. That's why I hate them. because they think they're better than everybody else. That's a story of why Villanova should. And even the girl, she was like, "Oh, he's such a douchebag." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't even know where I know him from." She's just like, "He's just kind of a douchey guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's the typical like Hoboken guy from Philadelphia. That's exactly what he is." But Donnie, we move on. Kansas, they get the job done in OT. Bit of a surprising result. I think a lot of people thought the Duke Blue Devils would get the job done, but a nice win for Kansas. Malik Newman was absolutely fantastic. Uh, even without Azubuike, we're still able to get the job done. He needs to stay in the game, though. That's a huge concern going forward against Villanova. If he goes out, it's not going to be as easy. What are your thoughts on Kansas, Donnie?
I like the way Kansas played. Bill Self, I thought was amazing. That zone that Duke had, it was nice to see that actually a team had a game plan and not look like foolishness when they match up against a 2-3 or a 3-2 zone with some athletes up top. I thought Kansas, initially in the first half was getting a lot of open looks, the same as Duke, but nobody was hitting their shots. Second half, a little bit more fluid. Game came right down to the end, ball in, ball out. Two equally matched teams. But you're right, Azubuike needs to stay in there. But I guess, Jeff, that's just his MO. We've been saying that all along, like he needs to stay out of foul trouble. I just don't think he understands that. When you watch the big kid, it's slipped my mind, from West Virginia play. Like, play within yourself. Know how to block shots. Know how to body control, not just drill into somebody. When you're 7'2", if you just blow on somebody, it's going to be a foul. You don't have to jump and block everything. Stand there with your hands up. It's hard enough to get over. I don't know if he's going to be able to make this run into the Final Four, Jeff, and get it. But the one thing you do know about Villanova, Jeff, which you've seen time and time again, they will run right at your big man and crash into him on the way to the rim. He's going to foul out against Villanova, Jeff.
Yeah, they're kind of a tough matchup because they have they're tough because they have so many guys that can score. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that possess. Oh well, if Brunson can't score, well we get it to Bridges. If Bridges can't score, we get it to Pascal. Pascal will get a boot. I mean, it's just you know, player after player can just knock it down. You get DiVincenzo in there; he can knock it down. Yeah, no, I think you're right. He will foul. I mean, what does he have? Nine. He has 14 fouls over the last 3 games, and he's fouled out in 2 of the games. So I mean, he has to figure it out because he can't, you know. And then the announcer's talking about, well, if he fouls out, it's okay. It's like, "Well, no, it's not okay. I mean, there's still 4 minutes if he can't foul. The Sousa does not, but I'll tell you what, the Sousa played pretty well the last couple of minutes. He was able to really help with Bagley and they kind of were a non-factor in the overtime period. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Um, so yeah, overall, I mean, we'll talk all week about the great Final Four stuff. We kind of gave our thoughts on some of the games here early on. Malik Newman played at my hometown high school. Yeah, he's had a great career. He kind of disappeared for a while when he left Michigan or Mississippi State, but I think he's an NBA player, and I think he'll go somewhere. Kind of reminds me of OJ Mayo a little bit, the way he plays. Um, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, Donnie, but I think worst case scenario he reminds me a lot of Flip Murray. Flip Murray was a Philadelphia legend for a while. He has a similar game to those players. I think OJ Mayo, I think it's a good comparison from Malik Newman. Big man, what are your thoughts on today's game? I have no opinion on today's game. I'm not going to be betting it. Just because it's on. I don't have anything on uh, North Texas and
It's
who are they even
5
playing?
now, Jeff. That line is skyrocketing north now. San Francisco up to -5 at Chris.
We have a Kevin Pittsnoggle discussion here on the chat.
It's a good word.
Haven't seen him in a while. Donnie, let's move into let's knock it down 2 spots. Let's go to slowly turning the page to MLB. Now, Donnie, tell the listeners how do you talk about MLB? Like you're a big April better in MLB, aren't you?
Huge April better. You know what, Jeff? The best part about it is I say, you know what? How you doing your homework for Major League Baseball? Like, we do the round tables and you want to brush up on the divisions. And I'm the stickler, Jeff, because you know me. I slow play a lot of these, professional sports until I see some numbers. I see some way some of these guys actually appear on the field. Jeff, I turned on my first spring training game yesterday for about maybe 5 pitches with the Phillies. So I think Odubel Herrera got picked off. I saw Carlos Santana with an at-bat where he hit one up the middle, but it got caught. And then I turned it off because I was bored as hell and realized none of this even matters. The first week of baseball doesn't matter. Second, third, and fourth, it doesn't matter. It's going to be cold. Nobody's going to be hitting the baseball. You have no idea how long the pitching staff's going to be out there pitching. You have no idea who's ready to start this baseball season. And you know what we're going to do, Jeff? Jeff, what are we going to do in April here? Tell me.
Fade the public, probably.
There you go. It's the best rule of thought. And they say, well, Donnie, you do well in April, or, I followed you for the past couple of Aprils, you do well. Why don't you sell plays? Because I'm not capping the games. People pay us, Jeff, or look into us because we have a decided edge on a game, whether it be college football, NFL football, basketball, NBA, whatever it may be, soccer. That's what you're paying for the insight. In April, we sit back and let the fools bet and then bet against the fools. And it's an unbelievable moneymaker. Why should you charge or do anything when you're not even putting in the time? If you line it up where you say, oh my God, I love this game today, I will fade the hell out of you in April and laugh all the way to the bank. It's a proven commodity, Jeff, and we're going to have a ton of fun in April doing it.
Big man, what are your plans for Sunday, the day off of the tournament? I think I'm going to the Rockets Spurs game. So that's at they're in town this weekend, so I'll probably go to that. I think I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure yet exactly. Are you taking Albania today? I don't know. I don't have any soccer players just yet. Donnie, as far as MLB futures, listen, I made a couple. I took Dallas Keuchel to win the Cy Young at 20 to 1 to 18 to 1 now. Still think it's very good price there for that. Look, I think Dallas Keuchel is among the best pitchers in baseball. I think he's obviously on a very good team this year. At 20 to 1, Donnie, that seemed a bit high to me. Can you explain to me why like James Paxton is better odds? I mean, Luis Severino. I think you could make the case that he's the third best pitcher in the American League. Dallas Keuchel. Why is Dallas Keuchel such high odds?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of a letdown. Maybe you won the World Series. Maybe just a ballpark that you play in, and maybe falling off a ledge. I'm not sure because it's hard to pick. Other than what the Chris Sales of the world, that are just going to be always up top and blow, a million strikeouts. Same thing with Kluber out of Cleveland. But yeah, no, it does seem a little bit short, a little bit light there.
Yeah. As far as a couple other ones, I think the Boston Red Sox, and it pains me to say, but I do think the Boston Red Sox are going to win the American League. I like what they have. I like the moves that they made. I like their rotation. I think they have the better rotation than New York Yankees. Obviously, the trade deadline will be a big thing for the Yankees. I'm sure they'll go out and get some kind of pitcher, but I do like the Boston Red Sox. I am someone that has already taken a future out on an exact matchup with Boston and the Giants. As far as AL MVP, I don't know. Mookie Betts is interesting to me. I think George Springer's interesting. Uh, Donnie, though, Jose Altuve, our boy, 6 to 1.
Yeah,
He looks pretty good as well.
yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something. If you're betting Mike Trout at plus 110 to win the AL MVP, um, find another fucking hobby, will you? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, you're betting plus 110s on a fucking MVP. At
Jeff, a
least
lot of
get 3 to 1
Tiger, a lot of Tiger Woods backers are Mike Trout backers, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. He pitched a long season in 17 and has injury concerns. Who didn't? I mean, who didn't pitch a lot of innings in the 17 and has injury
You go on
concerns?
the, yeah, but Jeff, when you win the World
Everyone.
Series, you go on the banquet circuit, though. We saw it with Cole Hamels. You go out, you dominate, you become an World
Maybe.
Series MVP, best pitcher on the staff. You eat steaks, drink beers, and all of a sudden, like, oh, damn, it's already February. I got to get back in shape.
You might be right. He comes across to me as a heavy competitor, though. Who do I like in the race today at 2? I don't know. I'll have to give out picks later. I
Oh, that's
wasn't able
right,
to do a
Jeff. There
video
you
this
go.
morning.
Yes, NASCAR
I had
today. Come
some
on.
I had some issues with my Friday, Thursday night with recording, so I wasn't able to do it. I would look Kevin Harvick. I mean, I think you back to him maybe. I have to see. What do we think of Kingery? I think Kingery. I was surprised that they did what they did yesterday.
Love it.
Honestly, with Scott Kingery bringing him up, I thought that was I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, you were set up for the King. He's going to go back down to the minor leagues, Jeff. They didn't even bring him up for
Yeah,
September because they want to continue to hold his rights for another year. What's like again? Major League Baseball has the best players union in the world. Usually, whatever they want, they get. But this just stinks to the high heaven. Can you imagine next year? Let's just say I don't know, number 1 overall pick goes to Cleveland, and it's going to be Darnold. And they're going to start their quarterbacking with him, and they go, you know what? That 5th year, we don't want the kick in. You're not going to start till game 8. You're not allowed to play. Flip it over to the number 2 pick. Let's just go, Jeff. The Giants go with Saquon Barkley, ready to go out of the gates, a dominant player. Saquon, Not going to play till week 9 versus the Eagles because we want to hold your rights. It's one of the stupidest rules I've ever seen in my life, and I can't believe the Major League Baseball union can allow that. But kudos to the Phillies for bucking the trend, because if there's any Atlanta Braves fans in here, the kid Acuna down there, who's going to be a flat-out superstar, it might already, Jeff, be the best player on their team. He didn't even make the ball club coming out of spring training, even though he would be penciled in day one starter. This is ridiculous. You even saw with the Chicago Cubs, Jeff, when Chris Bryant was mashing and was the best hitter on their team, send him down to the minors to start. It's an asinine rule, and I'm glad the Phillies said, you know what? Let's spend some money. He deserves to be here. Let's play him.
I don't disagree. Scott Kingery's been compared to Dustin Pedroia. I don't know. That could be a total
He's good.
wash.
He's a good. Yeah, he could wash out, but he has all the makings of that mix between like a Chase Utley and Pedroia. Hit for high average, play really good second base, be that glue guy out there that you can have for a decade. He looks the part, but hey, he's never taken a swing, Jeff, in Major League Baseball. So we'll see.
Exactly. That wraps up the show. We'll take the topics we didn't get to and put them on tomorrow's show. Donnie, that's that for the right side of campus today. I want to make this clear. I am going back to sleep. I am going and catching up because I haven't slept a ton lately. I have nothing else to do today. And yes, that's the great thing about basketball ending. No, I will not be on to San Francisco, North Texas today. And you won't see me all day. So everyone have a great day. Donnie, anything from you?
Mhm. No, I will be filming a short video here coming up shortly on what we learned over the weekend, Jeff, from March Madness. Looking forward. But other than that, let's relax.
There you go. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll go over more Elite Eight or more Final Four stuff. We'll get to the stuff we missed today. Thanks to uh, Johan for producing the show. As always, make sure you're supporting everything at SBR. Make sure you're supporting Sportsbook Review, checking out all the books. Make sure when you're getting baseball lines, you're getting the best lines. Make sure you have multiple books. Thanks to everyone for listening. And thanks for everyone out there supporting us every day. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.